You idiot lah.
Hi everyone, and welcome to this episode of In Our Humble Opinion.
Ayo!
And ding! No, didn't happen again.
Yes.
In this episode, we'll be talking about bullying, something I truly detest because it preys on people who are weaker than most, and even worse if bullying occurs to people who are intellectually disabled. Now, that really sucks. So we have two stories for you today. Now I'm beeping, I'm sorry about that. We have two stories for you today. And
You
we
gotta
begin-
introduce us.
Oh yes, I know. Wait lah, relax lah. Yo lah, coming to the head.
Yo.
Discombobulated lah he.
On my right, I have Gilbert Cheah. Say hello.
Hello, namaste.
On my left, I have...
Daisy Irani Subaya, cool grandma. Hello, namaste.
And I'm Chris Henson, Tupwete. Can you guys stop disrupting me, please? I've completely lost my train of thought. We have two stories.
boarding at the
Can
station.
I start the darn show? We have two stories today.
Yep, you told us.
And we begin with the first story, smartass, about that ITE kid and those who the guy who did the bullying. He bullied an autistic kid, also from ITE, in a school toilet, and he also had some can I call him accomplices around with him. He did that. He slapped the boy, kicked him in the calf, simply because apparently he wrote this himself later on, that this kid that he bullied peed on his shoe and socks. Now, the bully has been expelled from the school. What do you guys think about this?
Okay, so I think that there's a lot of issues here. There are a lot of issues here that we need to address. One is that when the video was first uploaded, there was no backstory to it. It showed the bully aggressively slapping, hitting, and kicking the boy.
Correct.
So obviously, everyone got angry. It looked like a clear case of no reason bullying. And they then expelled the bully. Since then, he's put out a statement to explain the backstory, saying that prior to this video being taken, the boy who he had slapped had taken out his genitals and peed directly at the bully, wetting his shoes and his socks.
Yeah.
He then, of course, got very angry and retaliated. And he did say in his statement that he did not know the boy was autistic, and he's apologized. And a couple of things. One is I thought that it was good of him to apologize and to the boy's family to clear and give the backstory. The note was actually also quite well written, which was interesting to me. You know, if he wrote it himself, it was well expressed. He said he did not want people to think that he was the kind of person who just preyed on someone weaker. And he said he did not know that the boy was autistic, and he felt bad about that.
Still a bit too late.
Yeah, but I still think it is a good move on his part. Okay. I don't know how I would react, honestly, if a total stranger peed directly at me. You know, I might not be quite so calm also, okay? So I think that's one issue here. The issue also is that when videos get uploaded, very often we don't know what's happened prior to this. You know, not to say that what he did was right, he's apologized for it, but what do you think, Daisy?
Well, I think there are several points, and what you said is spot on about the whole complexion of the issue being changed once the apology came through. I mean, the explanation from the boy who was expelled. But I think the fact is that it is imperative that we do need to create a punishment as a deterrent. But we've been noticing that there have been quite a few recent cases with unis and polys. You know, we've discussed this before. We had a guy who took pictures, of his female student and uploaded it. And at that time, if I remember correctly, the university had just given a slap on the wrist and said, the student is smart and we should not jeopardize his career. So at that time, I think there was a big uproar, and then it moved on to a sentence. So there are points that I want to talk about here. First of all, should one rush so fast to the judgment of expelling the student without having discussed this, taken his point of view in length before he had to actually resort to social media to explain his part, right? The second, I feel, and I truly think that I want to go to the middle path, that is when a student is rusticated, when he is expelled, that should not be permanent. Because there is a chance to rehabilitate the person, a chance to reform, and then the student has an opportunity to come back to university, to poly, to the education institute, and start his career again. Because you just can't say, thank you very much, you did something wrong, off your head, and that's the end. Because there are several questions at play here. Was he a first-time offender? Like in this case, we realized that, yeah, he got upset, man, why are you peeing on me? You know, that could be the reaction. So is he an offender? Is this happening again and again? What was the boy like? What was the situation like? So I assume what didn't work in his favor was that it continued. So you slap a boy and then you have friends behind you saying, yeah, and goading you on. That, again, changes the complexion of the whole incident.
You know, I think if not for social media, this whole thing wouldn't have gone out so completely out of hand. Whoever the clown was that took the video in the first place and uploaded it. Yeah? I mean, come on, guys. We are all not that young. Speaking for myself, back in school, right? Bullying was like an everyday affair. Being bullied was like an everyday affair. But we always learned how to handle it on our own. You know, we grew up learning how to manage these things. Sometimes we manage them wrong. Sometimes we manage them right. How will we know? Because as adolescents, we only know so much. Beyond that, I think, you know, Daisy, you use the term rehabilitation or to rehabilitate. If I were that bully that just got expelled, I think it'll do a lot of harm to my own self-esteem, given this particular circumstances, that his admission, what he wrote, that I don't think I need rehabilitation. I just need to be corrected in that, you know, next time just discover whether this person is normal or not. You know, to learn that rather than...
It's a one-time lesson. It's an important lesson.
I think the expulsion is extreme.
It's extreme.
But you see, that's where these different layers come in. When there is a rule to say that if there is bullying, and students will have to pay a very strong price if that is what they do, I think in this case, they should have waited to get a bit more information before they made this final decision.
I think what Chris...
But there's one point I want to say. Chris, you said there was bullying and we got bullied in our days. Yes, we did. But that doesn't really make bullying acceptable.
Oh, Daisy, you know I hate bullies. You know that. And I'm not defending any bully here.
Right. No, I know. But what I'm trying to say is that it turned a different color when they realized the boy is autistic.
Okay. I think that one thing you said is very true. Once it gets on social media, it takes on a life of its own.
Absolutely, yes.
Even the school's reaction would then be different.
Yeah.
The school then feels under pressure because there's such public uproar, okay? And I think that this is very dangerous because they need to be very clear that regardless of whether or not there's a public uproar, we need to look at the circumstances, look at the boy, and what we can do to help him.
That's why institutions shouldn't be so light-eared.
Yes, exactly.
They shouldn't be.
Reactive.
We would also think that, you know, even if I'm being accused, I would also expect the institution to be fair.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, just imagine if hypothetically in my ideal world that there's no social media, something like this really happens and it gets reported up to the school authorities. My take on this is that this boy, who's a special needs child, who was bullied, and this bully, you never know that they might end up being the best of friends. That, you know, this guy will go, I apologize to you, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And after that, keeps a more watchful eye over him. He could breed better things rather than listen to all the clamor on social media by all these idiots who are out there want to cancel people all the time.
Well, there's one point I'd like to add. I mean, what you're saying is a very beautiful, idealistic picture, and it's a wonderful thing to think of.
It's not idealistic in the least.
We've gone through. Okay, let's not go into hypothetical situations.
It's not hypothetical.
I'm talking.
It can't be. It can't.
You just said it's a hypothetical situation where they could be saying
on the non-existence of social media. That's hypothetical.
Correct.
But on the basis that the bully and the bullied can become best of friends.
Yes,
that's
yes.
not
Or
not
understand
hypothetical.
No.
Or understand
that
better.
I understand. That's what I said. It's a beautiful thought. I'm just trying to find a solution as we move forward. Not a solution, but a suggestion. That you see, when you join a company today, any company, you're put through a compliance training program where, you define the rules of engagement with your colleagues, your subordinates, about sexual harassment.
Yeah, but this
if
is
you
a
don't
school.
follow, hear me out.
Yeah.
If you don't follow the
these
rules,
are kids.
just hear me out. If you don't follow the rules, you're fired.
Yeah.
Right? Now, I just feel in the same way, all students have an orientation program. Now, I'm just saying, I know they are kids, but
And one of
they're
them is
different.
special needs,
Yes.
who's autistic.
No, but I'm not talking about, I'm saying to help in the future. I'm not talking about this particular incident, but I'm saying maybe to help so we do not have these situations where the university makes a mistake or, doesn't wait for the apology. What I'm trying to say is during the orientation, the unis, the polys, they should take extra care to make the children realize, the students realize that bullying will not be tolerated.
I'm pretty sure that is being
It
done.
is being done, but
I
that much
think that this
emphasis
guy-
is not being given
No,
on
I don't think
that
that's the
right
issue. I
now.
think you can emphasize all you want, but this guy who got peed on reacted in the moment.
No, true. We are all talking. We
Yeah.
know that now.
No.
We know that now. But you see, if we did not
I
know
wouldn't
that,
put the
if we
onus-
did not know that,
Yeah.
the color of our discussion would be totally different, right?
Yeah, but that's a hypothetical.
Right.
Then it's saying that
Right.
if we don't have
No.
the facts, we'll be
So
talking
no,
about something
but then,
differently.
Gilbert, why is it that the school, the uni, did not find this out before they made the decision to expel
That's
the
nothing to do
guy?
with orientation. That
I'm
is
just
investigation
suggesting. No, dear, I'm just
that the school needs to
suggesting
do.
that before the step of investigation, before something like this happens, like in the past, in the old days, there were programs, there were awareness programs. Like, I
But
remember.
bullying still happens.
So, no, not about bullying. Like when we were told, like even like how you say every time, please be kind, please be gracious, gentle reminders. When you have an orientation and it is very clearly specified, giving emphasis on the fact that certain behavior will absolutely not be tolerated, maybe that might help in other situations.
Which is what the ITE statement was about.
Yes.
That they will not tolerate this. It's already in place. The point is that if there are special needs children in an institution, there must be better management of that rather than.
And I think that when an incident like this happens, the institution needs to investigate it with more compassion rather than simply...
And thoroughness.
And thoroughness,
Yes.
absolutely,
I don't
rather
find-
than simply expelling.
I don't find expulsion to be a solution to everything,
I
to
agree.
be honest.
I agree.
It only
because it
propagates-
washes the hands off the problem.
yeah.
But
It puts the problem back into society. Because
Yeah.
you think about what happens with this boy now, right? He's got no other school to go to.
But
Yeah.
that's why.
So what's going to happen?
No,
Yeah.
correct. So
Right?
that's why I said if it's a middle path where, not in this case, but in a case where a child does need to be expelled, is there some kind of time limit where,
But then
it
it's not
happens like a
expulsion,
prison?
then it's suspension.
Suspension.
Yes. And then whether it's a long suspension, something for the child to
Well, I mean,
come back.
That-
because
that-
what
that-
happens
A
to
long
your career?
suspension basically
What happens
would
to your
derail
career?
your education.
No.
I understand
But
what you're
it's
saying.
better than having no
sure, of course, we need
education.
to find, but I think it's incumbent upon the institutions to have more compassion and more thoroughness and not to be so reactive. I really do believe that one of the reasons for the expulsion is because this went on social media and there was a big stink about this. You see?
I'm not sure.
I think we need to end off this topic and move on to the next one. But to end this topic off, I would like to just say that just because this incident happened in an ITE does not make every student from an ITE bullies.
Of course.
Of
I mean,
course.
I know.
certainly.
Let's put it out there because there are a lot of people out there who don't really have much an upper story. They start drawing conclusions for nothing. We've got great.
mean you've got a group of
we've got a
ITE
bunch of
bullies?
great interns from ITE in this place. Have done great work.
Well, given the fact that I lived in the US for so long, I don't understand the prejudice about ITE. So it is a bit of a mystery to me.
Well, some people
There's
say
a prejudice?
ITE stands for is the end.
Okay, so you're propagating something right now
I
by
am not
repeating
propagating. I'm
that.
saying it shouldn't be the case. It's because it's not the end.
It is.
I'm just
No.
telling you this is what people are saying.
Whatever it is, you
What
look at
people
the
say.
individual and you look at their qualities rather than where they went to school.
Of course.
Okay. I actually found out just recently that someone I have worked with, who I hired when I was at my previous company, Singapore Tatler, does not have a degree. I never knew this because when I interviewed her, I didn't ask for it and it didn't matter to me. And you know what? She was an amazing performer. I think you guys know who I'm talking about. But she never had a degree. She just told me this really. She said, boss, you didn't know I don't have a degree. I got a diploma. I'm like, what? So this is the thing, okay? Do not look at educational qualifications only. I think Singaporeans are obsessed with that. That's not the important thing.
Gilbert, would you hire me?
So-
Despite my Tourette's?
I think that one requires exorcism. Not medical intervention.
Well, that was good, Ben.
Okay.
I got to admit, that was
Okay.
good. Then this is where I'm going to hand over to the man who talked about exorcism to talk about this particular one. Can you please exercise the story?
Okay, so this is the other story. Is very, very disturbing story, and actually disturbing in several ways. Okay, a woman has been jailed because she sexually abused a 15-year-old boy who is a friend of her daughter, and both the daughter and the friend are intellectually disabled. So for whatever reason, when she found out that the boy liked her daughter, she took it upon herself to sort of introduce the boy into sex, and even perform sexual acts on him while she was in bed with her daughter. I mean, it's just so wrong on so many levels. All right. I think that it's quite clear cut that abuse of minors, abuse of anybody against their will, and especially those who have got intellectual disability, is just absolutely vile and intolerable. What's interesting about this also is that when this story broke on social media, as usual, on Channel News Asia, on Straits Times, on Today, the reaction from a lot, I'm talking about high hundreds of people in every one of these news stories online, was not horror or shock or anger, but amusement, mirth, and laughter. A lot of them posted laugh emoticons, made comments like, the boy is so lucky. I wish I had, I knew a woman like this. Can I be introduced to this woman? And I find this to be so wrong on so many levels. Sexual abuse is wrong, regardless of whether it's conducted by a man or a woman against either gender. And what is wrong with you people that you would think that this is funny? I think that this is something that is a bigger issue, that when sexual abuse happens to a man by a woman, a lot of society does not take this seriously, and they find it to be incredulous and humorous, which I think is very wrong. What do you guys think? As I see Chris trying to stifle a laugh.
No, hey.
Oh dear.
No,
Yes.
hey, hello.
Camera,
Don't
can you zoom in?
vilify me here,
Can you
man.
zoom-
Can
No,
you zoom
what
in at the
vilification? I'm stating a
smile?
fact.
I mean, I'm not going to say things like what you just mentioned. Some people have been saying online, right? Those comments. No, but I am going to say I'm going to take this completely different, in a different direction. Yeah? Because this has been on my mind, weighing on my mind. Yes, what she did is wrong, and I do not condone. I will not, for 1 second, say that it's not heinous in any sense. It is. It's heinous. But I ask myself, why? Don't know whether or not what she asserted in court is true or not. Whether or not she's got sick parents or aging parents, a sick husband, and a intellectually disabled daughter, and that she's the only one that is healthy enough to do anything and everything for the family.
Yep.
If there's any truth in that, and something could it be that something went wrong in her head when she committed these acts? I'm looking at it from a slightly more compassionate angle here. What she did was wrong. There's no disputing that. But what happened to her? And right now, as usual, who pays the price? The kids. her kid.
Yeah, of course, which is terrible.
Other
the poor
kid
daughter.
that she abused, and her own family. But what happened? Was there a break somewhere?
Okay.
You can say it's premeditated.
Yes.
Sure. It's I've interviewed people in my own show, people who are ex-offenders and ex-drug addicts, and the last guy that was with me, and he said, my guest, and he said, you don't even know you're addicted. You don't know it. Even in the withdrawals, you don't know it. This person may have had a break and then, start premeditating a lot of things. Like heroin addicts will also premeditate a lot of things. Now, again, I'm not condoning any of these things, but I'm saying that there must be something that we can understand. And
would you say that, though, if it was a man who had molested an intellectually disabled 15-year-old girl?
I'm only talking about this case in specific. Because looking at the family circumstances,
sure.
Could it be she had a break somewhere?
Yeah, so I think what you're saying is got a lot of sense because, okay, first of all, I see both the cases. Both are about the crime that was committed and the punishment that went along with it. So in the first case, yes, a crime was committed. It took a different turn with the apology. And now we are re-looking whether the punishment was right or wrong. Similarly, in this one, there is already punishment.
Yeah.
And again, we are looking at the reaction of people on social media and whether that punishment was right for what she had done because it was premeditated, because there was disability involved. I think where Chris is saying there are certain things that, again, we need to look at. Because first of all, she was unrepresented in court. Her parents have disabilities. Her daughter is a special needs child. And, it breaks your heart when she says things like, my daughter has to be taken to school on most days and I have to tie her hair, or my husband is old and, he might not even be around by the time I come back. And you listen to all these things. And she kept on saying also that she's a first-time offender and showed remorse. But then again, there are rules in place and there are laws in place, and the social media tries to be judge, jury, and hangman all the time. And are we here to really discuss what the social media thinks or does not think? We are here to see, okay, the law has done what it needs to do. And that, I think, is important.
Yeah, that's fine. But I think that we definitely need to talk about how social media is reacting to this, because this shows the mentality of people outside there. That there is a very widespread mentality that sexual abuse of men by women is somehow or other not as serious as the other way around. You see?
I think in this case, there was that extra layer because the boy was disabled as well.
Yeah, but that didn't stop. That's what my point is, that it's a very bad case. But people's reaction to it is mirth, humor, lucky guy. That's what I'm talking about.
But that's disgusting.
That's disgusting. That's my point.
That goes without saying that every week we sit here and we are just shocked how social media or these anonymous people can react.
They're not anonymous, actually. Actually, you look into the profiles there, you'll see quite a number of them have their full profiles. So many of them are parents, fathers, everything like that. Say, well, why didn't I have someone like that when I was growing up?
You're right. It makes one wonder, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But then the point is that as a society, something is going very wrong. And
exactly.
that is very, very scary. More scary than the cases we're talking about.
So let me just put it this way, right? This is not at all unique to Singapore. It happens in the US too. Whenever there are cases when a woman molests a guy, the men in the audience meaning the public, would react the same way. They just don't take it so seriously, you see? It would be very different if a man was raped by another man. Then people take that seriously. Okay, but because of sexism, anatomy, whatever it is, the belief is that if a man is aroused, he cannot be that he's innocent, right? And there have been cases of men who have been molested by women, who have brought it to court, who talked about the shame and all of that, especially if they're younger men who are molested by older women, you see. So that's my point. I think that we need to examine ourselves as a society as well, that we have this kind of reaction, especially if you're talking about looking at some of these people, their parents themselves. How would you feel if your child was the one who if your son was molested by an older woman,
course.
right? You'd be furious.
I wonder about, comments,
And I'm not talking about a few, and I'm talking about
a lot, yeah. Some of the comments and remarks made by people is, I don't know, man.
Yep.
I keep on asking myself, is society sick?
No,
or not?
so we have to be very thankful that we need a very strong judiciary, a judiciary that can examine the cases without getting affected by this craziness that
Well,
is
you know,
out there.
speaking about that,
Otherwise,
Daisy, speaking about that, if we look at the finer points, this lady was sentenced to a year in prison. It could have been 5 years.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, could have been 5.
So,
and,
you know,
and the fact that she brought up her family circumstances really helped. It helped to see a different kind of woman. Yes, what she did was wrong, but the vulnerability was also there, just like this young boy.
Well, yeah, we thought she should have thought about that before she started doing this. But the kid, her daughter is being looked after by the grandmother now. So at least it's,
Yeah, but hopefully strength and health to the grandparents, at least for the next 1 year.
Yeah, and to the daughter who
Yes.
and the poor boy who was the one who was molested.
Yes, you see, in the end, the
Yes.
ones that suffer are the ones that's left behind.
Absolutely.
But what was amazing is that she did try to give explanations as to what was her thinking behind to actually do this to the boy, trying to explain that she knew the boy was fond of her daughter and that she was trying to help the relationship. It seems far-fetched, but maybe that's all going on in her mind, and she somewhere is actually believing that what she's doing
Is right.
It doesn't matter to me because what matters is the effect on the child. In the same way as, for example, if someone to say,
Yes.
I thought you would like it if I had sex with you. So, because you're a virgin, so I'm going to have sex with you. Even if you say, no, I really thought you would like it. That doesn't
the
matter.
intent is
irrelevant.
Yes, absolutely. No, and so once again, we are happy to have this kind of judiciary that knows its job. We know the rules. It's not debatable whether it was right or wrong. The issue here is the shocking reaction on social media.
Yes.
And I don't know, how does one even try to contain it? How does one change this behavioral pattern that is out there?
Education?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
You really think so?
Now, I do think that there is a problem with our education system, though. I do think. I mean, by no means is this problem unique to Singapore, but I do think that,
Topic for another show.
Yes, exactly.
Topic
a very
for
good,
another
big,
show.
big juicy topic for another
Yes.
Yeah.
show.
Well,
Hey,
I was
producer,
just-
you heard that? A topic for
I
another
was
show. The
just
next
about
one.
to ask you, what do you think is wrong? But you're right. It's too big a topic for us to cover right now. But I'm very curious about that because I see some very, very wonderful students whom I'm very proud of, and my kids too, who came out of the education system. So this is something I look forward to listening to.
Yeah, I'm also very proud of this student down here who came out, pretty well too.
Yeah, I don't know about that. That is
absolutely.
another topic for
Yeah.
discussion.
Okay, Daisy, it's your turn to close.
Oh, well, for close, I'm going to go to you first for your
Oh,
titties.
okay, everyone,
Yes, go for it.
get ready for Chris's
A video I
titties.
Yes.
Titties.
I don't know if they've ever given you a
Titties,
close-up
titties,
out there.
titties.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Got it.
Got
We're
it?
gonna
Got
put
it?
it to music
okay.
now. You want to put it to music?
People on Spotify are going to wonder what the hell is going on.
Exactly.
sorry.
I've just moved my ditties.
Me
Right.
bosoms.
Here's Chris's ditty for this episode. You guys, listen to this. We never know of someone's plight. What they go through hardly surface in the light. It's not our place to lash out and blight. Use reason and sense, no need to fight. And for those whose trust has been given to you in protecting their children, who are more special than most, but in you especially they chose. You left hearts broken by your iniquity. We can only hope and pray life will lend them some pity.
Yeah, iniquity, big word. Okay.
From the start of the show to now, man, this guy's been on my ass.
My turn now. I just have something brief to say. I think that there is a saying which I find very beautiful. This is that every child comes with him or her a message that God is not yet discouraged of mankind. And I think it's a beautiful thought. And what I want to elucidate on that is that children are innocent, and it is important for us to protect their innocence. Children are not born bullies. Children are not born haters. They learn from the adults around them. In the case of this kid who was expelled, we know the backstory now. I wish him well. I hope that society and school will give him a chance, because at one point he was someone's child. He is someone's child, Same thing with the innocent kids who were abused. I think that we all need to keep this in mind and to do our best to protect the innocence of children, whether by not turning a blind eye and ear, as we've talked about before, or intervening to help.
Oh, elucidate, elucidate. Big word, man. Elucidate.
Yeah.
Sounds like a toothpaste brand.
I think both my kakis here are absolutely right. Our topics today had to do with crime and punishment. And there is also an appeal that we don't judge so fast. We don't jump to conclusions so fast.
Yes.
Again, it is not our job to be the judge, the jury, and the hangman, because once you hang that boy, that's it. He's got a whole life ahead of him. And that's not the way you react. Even for the lady, she's going to serve her time. What happens to her when she comes back? How is she accepted back into society? We've got to think of all those things when we think of crime and punishment. And therefore, to close, I would like to quote Dostoevsky, who was the writer of the very famous book, Crime and Punishment. And he said,
Dostoevsky.
Yeah.
the man who has a conscience suffers while acknowledging his sin. The man who has a conscience suffers whilst acknowledging his sin. That is his punishment, ... as well as prison. So it's not just you have to pay for the crime. And so to end, I'd just like to say, we are on Spotify, we are on YouTube, we are on all those channels which have these podcasts. Please find us, listen to us, like us, and we shall see you next week. Namaste.
Be safe and be kind.
And remember, elucidate is not a toothpaste. Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Namaste.
You idiot lah.
And that's an otter in the longkang that's now looking for the female otter who's on heat. In the other longkang.